Harajuku, a neighborhood bursting with colors, creativity, and chaos. Lying right at the heart of Tokyo, it is known as the hub of Japanese fashion and lauded as one of the most fashion-forward places on earth. Back in 1997, there was a photographer who saw a massive surge of crazy outfits being worn in the streets of Harajuku. Teens were mixing kimono with platform boots, merging punk with a happy-go-lucky vibe, wearing outfits that look straight out of sci-fi movies. Thus, a legendary magazine with a cult following was born. A magazine that later would also give birth to another magazine featuring just as many cool outfits. The magazine was known as Fruits, with all caps except for the I. A monthly magazine documenting the blooming street fashion of Harajuku at that time. It was produced by Shoichi Aoki, a Japanese photographer who has been capturing street fashion since the 80s. He didn't immediately start his career as a photographer. Aoki initially was a programmer. It's not even related to fashion. His first foray into fashion photography began in the 80s, capturing rebellious street style in London. He had his first breakout when he returned to Tokyo and produced a fashion magazine called Street, in all caps, in 1985. Through the lens of Aoki's camera, Street magazine highlights the street style of fashion hubs across the world, such as New York, London, and Berlin. In the mid-90s, Aoki noticed something different happening back home. British fashion brands such as Vivienne Westwood and Christopher Nemeth were gaining a lot of followers in Tokyo. A new breed of Japanese fashion creatives would also offer fresh and exciting products, moving away from the modesty of 80s Japanese designers, like Jun Takahashi of Undercover, Takao Yamashita of Beauty Beast, brands like 2047 1120, Photos, Super Lovers, Sexpat Revenge, with vintage shops opening on each corner and the youth's penchant for saving their budget, a change is about to happen. Aoki saw a shift in Tokyo's youth fashion, where kids were blending traditional Japanese garments with handmade, second-hand, and alternative designer pieces. It was colorful, dirty, kitschy, purely honest and innovative. There seemed to be no rules there, only self-expression. So Aoki started documenting it. Every month, he'd hit the streets with his camera and publish what he saw through Fruits. It wasn't just a fashion magazine. It was a cultural time capsule, one that captured a moment in Japan where nothing is holding them back in expressing themselves. No stylist, no social media, just people with unreal style. So each issue featured full-page street snaps with little bios, age, occupation, favorite brands. Most of them are teenagers. The styles were very diverse. There was Decora, with layers of color, toys, and stickers. Lolita fashion, Victorian and doll-like, but subversive. Gothic, punk, cyber, fairy K, you name it. Fruits celebrated it all. And suddenly, in the early 2000s, the whole world started to notice this massive movement in Harajuku. As the Y2K boom was happening, designers like John Galliano and Marc Jacobs would get their inspiration from these out-of-the-box Harajuku outfits. Western fashion blogs will take note of the district, but in Japan, Fruits was more than just a source of inspiration. It was a mirror and a statement. It basically tells the youth of Japan that no boundaries can hold them down when expressing themselves. To add to that, in 2004, Aoki would also launch Toon magazine, again in all caps. This time he focuses on menswear of Harajuku. Here, the subjects are much more mature. There was a little kid though.
He's just a kid.
And the fashion styles are way more grungy, disheveled, and sometimes straight up avant-garde. If you ask me which outfits are my favorites from these two magazines, I can't give you the answer because it will be impossible. Because there are just too many. For years and years, both Fruits and Tune were the Bible of Harajuku style. Until the year 2015, the magazine was suddenly no longer available at stores and stands across Japan. Unfortunately, Aoki announced the end of Tune magazine, followed by Fruits magazine 2 years later. The reason? It had ended because, according to Aoki, the streets had changed. There seems to be a decline. Harajuku had become commercial. It has become a shell of its former self, with barely any raw creativity inside. Fortunately, though, the legacy of Harajuku lives on. Around the same year Tune ended, a Tumblr account named Fuck Yeah Fruits would unearth the archive of Fruits magazine. An Instagram account called at fruits underscore magazine underscore archives will also bring the magazine to light. And the crowd goes wild. The scant pages of the magazine would attract an army of fashion heads, stunning them with unapologetic style and otherworldly outfits. As for Aoki, he never really stopped shooting. He's still capturing moments, one snap at a time. In 2022, Fruits would wake up from its slumber, capturing the same streets, same soul, but this time with new faces. The magazine will also have an official Instagram account. You can check them out at FruitsMag. While the streets aren't really crowded with crazy outfits anymore, it turns out there are actually some newer generations who are adopting the spirit of the old Harajuku with even more diverse fashion styles. Some even belong in their own categories. So that'll be the end of today's topic. Let me know about your thoughts on Aoki's magazine, Harajuku, and all the styles appearing there. And as usual, don't forget to like this vid, subscribe to my channel, and follow my socials. See you all next time.